Good morning and happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody. I know it's not a Wednesday, but I like to try to make these when I'm doing something different or interesting or brewing. So what I've done here is I'm making my first Belgian Quad. On Saturday, I spent 4 hours mashing really low temps, so 144 an hour, 148 for an hour, and then 158 for an hour, and then a mash out at 170 plus, yeah, something like that, 170, 175. For like 10 minutes, like as it was draining pretty much. And I even managed to sparge with another gallon of boiling hot water. And hopefully that should work pretty well. My yield on it was better than expected, somewhere around 70% efficiency, which for me is probably going to be a high. So I pitched in. I had a starter that had been going for a week that I'd stepped up, I think twice. Yeah, stepped up twice because it was old. The yeast is White Labs 5 WLP 530, and that means it's the Abbey Ale yeast from over the summer. It's one of those limited releases. Anyway, that's not. I'm making this video to talk about that, but this is really what I want to show you. I wanted to show you this crazy fermentation, this crazy activity that's going on. And yep, it is pretty cool. It actually stayed about 60, 62 for the first day. And I know that's not typical Belgian, but that's what I'm going to do. It's probably going to step up and eventually be 68. But I want to keep it fairly low, because that's what I like to do. The other different thing that I'm doing is this. Here you can see that I filled this carboy right up, and so I know, because of that, I knew this was going to happen. That a lot of the krausen is in the blow-off. But I'm not super worried about that. Should be pretty good. Should work pretty well, I think. I had somebody tell me that that it's a great idea that the bad flavors are in the krausen, and when they leave, it'll make my if they leave, it'll make my beer taste better. But I'm not sure that I believe that. Anyway, hooray for lots of activity. There was a lot less yesterday. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention is how I'm going to step this up. Sorry for all that weight. I'm going to step it up as far as the gravity of the fermentation, which means that what's in there now is 17 pounds of Golden Promise, 1 pound of aromatic, and 1 pound of Chateau Cara Gold, which I think is really interesting. Oh yeah, and 6 ounces of cherry smoked malt. So I think either tomorrow, so that'd be Tuesday, or Wednesday, I'm going to put in my first, I guess, adjunct, and that's a pound of Belgian dark candy sugar. Then I'm going to wait 2, maybe 3 more days, then put in another pound of Belgian amber candy syrup, and then 2 or 3 more days after that, I'm going to, or maybe even in the secondary. I was actually thinking I might just do it in the secondary, but I was thinking that I'd put a pound of corn sugar in there, and that will give me about 10% alcohol. Yeah. So the idea with stepping that up, I don't know if you've probably heard before. The idea with that is that the yeast, by its own nature, will attempt to eat the simplest sugars first. That's glucose. And if you dump in a ton, if you brew and have a lot of glucose, what can happen is that the yeast will get very lazy, and they won't eat the maltose, and they won't eat the more complex sugars that are in there. So, and then you'll get a stuck fermentation and won't ferment down. But if you limit the amount of glucose, then you can potentially get a better fermentation, a better attenuation, and no stuck fermentation, and I think that's really important. Anyway, happy Homebrew Wednesday. It is wicked early, that's why I look like this. But I woke up and I really wanted to see what this thing is doing, and I'm happy that it's moving. Anyway, I'd love to hear your comments, and And yeah, leave a comment and subscribe. Thanks so much.